Hi there, I'm Jen. This is Remembered Reads, and this is going to be my TBR for March Mystery Madness. All the March Mystery Madness details will be in the box below. Is this audio out of sync? It is, because for some reason the audio did not record when I tried to use a new microphone today. So I'm doing a voiceover for this, because I don't have time to re-record it. Hey, these things happen, right? So first up, a book that I talked about in my announcement video. This is Blackwater Falls by Ausma Zehanet. This is her newest release, and it is also a new series. She has an older mystery series that's about a set of detectives in Toronto. This one is set in Denver, but sounds like it's going to be dealing with similar themes. The author herself is originally from Canada and now lives in Colorado, so it makes sense that her series has shifted over there as well. It sounds like this one, like the series that's set in Toronto, is going to be dealing with some topical themes. The author has a PhD in international human rights law, and a lot of the research that she is clearly interested in doing in her old profession is something that's carried over to her fiction, which is really interesting because I think you don't see a lot of that in strict procedurals, which is what these are in a genre sense. So that's kind of fun, even when the topics are quite depressing, so I should correct myself when I'm saying fun. Another book that I mentioned in the announcement video is Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips's Follow Me Down, which is the most recent volume in Reckless, which is a crime noir style comic series that this particular volume is set in 1989, but some of the earlier ones were set earlier in the 80s and in the 70s, which is a nice spin on standard crime noirs, which tend to be set in the 30s or 40s. This, I believe, is focused on criminal doings that are happening during the time of the 1989 San Francisco earthquake. So this should be an interesting one. Next up is one that I mentioned in the announcement video but wasn't originally planning to read, but then I thought, well, why not? And that's Thomas King's Dreadfulwater. This is a series that is about a Cherokee ex-cop who'd been living in Los Angeles and moves to the Northwest to become a photographer, but ends up investigating crimes, because that's how it goes in a mystery series. You may know Thomas King from his nonfiction or his literary fiction, because he writes a lot of that. The Inconvenient Indian was one that I think a lot of people were reading a few years ago. And I believe in this book he's investigating a murder in which his girlfriend's son is the prime suspect. So that should be a fun start to this series. Next up is a book that I've been saying I'm going to read during March Mystery Madness for several years in a row, and I haven't gotten around to it. And that is The Last Taxi Ride by A.X. Ahmad. This is part of a series about a New York City taxi driver who investigates crimes in his free time. And in this volume, he himself is the suspect in the murder of a Bollywood star who he has driven somewhere. And the doorman could be his alibi, but the doorman's gone missing too. So we'll see how this goes. One that I have around right now, but that I probably am not going to actually get to, is the newest in Louise Penny's Three Pines series. This is a book that I didn't have out of the library, my mother had it out of the library, and I offered to take it back. And since it's not due for a week and a half, maybe I'll read it in that week and a half. This series was recently turned into a TV series, but if you haven't seen the series or read the other ones, it's about a Montreal cop who is assigned to investigate a surprising number of murders in a small town in rural Quebec. Lots of local flavor. The TV series has less French than you would expect. Anyway, I'm not sure I'll actually get to this, but we'll see. And finally, it wouldn't be March Mystery Madness if there wasn't some Agatha Christie, and here's a collection on CD, so we're going old school. It's David Suchet, Poirot himself, reading some of Agatha Christie's Poirot short stories. And I believe it's 11 stories on 5 CDs, so this should be fun to get through. Also, some of these I think I have listened to in audio versions before, but in the form of the BBC audio plays, so it'll be fun to compare and contrast. And that is it. If you're participating in March Mystery Madness, I'd love to hear what you're reading. If you've read or are planning to read any of the ones that I mentioned, let me know. And I apologize again for the terribly weird audio. Next time, I'm going to test out the microphone ahead of time. Anyway, that's it for now. Ciao.